Reading, a town in Berkshire, Royal County of Berkshire, and I'm coming onto a live stream on CNS-TV to talk about a resignation, a government-level resignation of somebody who is known for serving a prime minister, a direct position with implicit contact with a prime minister, a UK prime minister. These are appointments that come in with the job that a prime minister gets. The prime minister has to choose very carefully who it is that they'll see most days and whose name will come up on their phone when they're away or when they're not in the office. These are important jobs to have, but more importantly, they're jobs to cover with credible, legitimate and safe people. I don't mean the word safe in terms of physical safety, I mean in terms of character that will not bring down the tone of an office internally or by reputation. Safe in terms of somebody who can handle communications and work and talking with people and meeting people every single day, whatever their mood, whatever the weather. The resignation, therefore, of Morgan McSweeney is interesting for those who watch those types of jobs and appointments. I've met many people who work in offices up and down the United Kingdom who look at those jobs in particular, more so maybe than the job of Prime Minister. They're very interested in those people because they come across as being similar to the type of person that works for their boss, the CEO of a company, their secretaries, their advisors. I've been told look and sound similar to those who are appointed by prime ministers. They've said that to me as an observation. I know that government work is heavy, I know that it's hard. The eventual publication is much simpler than the information they start with. It's got to be intelligible. It's got to be useful for members of every other party and many more people in an extended network outside of London and possibly across the world. It's got to be intelligent. It's also got to be characteristic. It can't be a copy of other people's work. It's got to be original. That is the basis of security, originality, authenticity, legitimacy. So a lot of thinking has to go into these roles. And the exit of somebody on the basis of an ambassador also leaving, it suggests there's been a problem in the thought process, hasn't there? It suggests there's been a problem in their discussions as they were working through who should be who should go where, who is doing what. There was a problem in how they were thinking about these people, the roles, and also their wider awareness of the world beyond the small world of number 10. So somebody's admitted to making a mistake. They've said their thinking was flawed. They've said that they made an error. They didn't mean to cause any harm. I mean, they haven't. We don't think Peter Mandelson caused any harm himself either. But this is guilt by association, and Morgan McSweeney should have known about that association. So this is a failure of people's awareness of their reasoning, maybe of the information they've got to hand, not necessarily intel. Politicians and staff alike know a lot about each other anyway, but calculations have to be made. And if Peter Mandelson is not guilty of harm, then what harm could be caused in appointing him in the first place? Maybe that was part of their consideration. Now, this is a policing matter, isn't it, you would think? Maybe there are some details left over they've got to collect up. I know from the inside that Prince Andrew was cleared years ago of any involvement in any of this. We don't know why he knew this guy called Jeffrey. He knows a lot of people. He's met many more people beyond the people that he would know, quote unquote. He would have to reveal some of his diary notes, or he would have to give us some excerpts from his intellectual memoir to tell us how he even met this person and why he did. I don't think interviews have satisfied our curiosity to know from his own mind why he did certain things in terms of being photographed or even being near to this individual in the same location. I've looked over government information before. I've looked over information regarding scandals before. I've looked over foreign policy before. Foreign policy, in terms of that form of straightforward government work, is much more difficult than a sex abuse investigation. I know the complexities that cascade down from top-level information to the basic information that we've got to handle as news breaks. I've met police officers, policing staff as well, who also do that same thing. They look over worded statements, they look over printed documents, they look into digital files, and they have to be careful in the way that they read things, and they have to be accurate in the things that they say as a result of having read those things. So this is a very difficult, complex matter. In policing terms, as far as I'm aware, and by my experience, I don't think these two resignations or sackings, whatever they may be, are even consequential. I don't think that actually that's important. I don't think it relates to sex abuse investigations. This is more the party politics of a party that doesn't want to seem to be impure. It doesn't like to have a tainted, damaged, soiled reputation. It doesn't like to work with people believing that it doesn't have the best interests of people at heart. So the exit of two leading figures who may mean more to some London types than to others who live in London isn't really the point. In speaking to policing staff before who are more in an office than outside of an office, they would be saying that this doesn't really have much of a consequential effect on stopping any sex abuse. This will not change that state of affairs. It is still whistleblowing of the people that are doing it. It is still tip-offs from people that know about the people that are doing it, and it's also crucially the confession of those that are involved that is most important. Serious policing work has to involve that type of engagement and not irregular, indirect contact with people that are not in the core or the crux of the problem. Remember that this is an office in Downing Street in the UK. Jeffrey Epstein did not live in Downing Street. We can say that with a sigh of relief. Remember that he was not advising the UK government. He was not important to any UK government functions. That is not in the scope of police investigation. An investigation at the moment is being carried out into whether somebody passed out information, whether they passed on information that may not be crucial, but is sensitive, and it may offend other people that it was passed on without their consent, because it's supposed to be kept in their discussions. This is what happens in police investigations. This is what they talk about. This is what they go over. So I'm not very concerned about these events, and also it matters more to Labour than it would do to the Conservative Party. It seems as though Starmer, the Prime Minister, is clearing out some more positions, and that may give him more flexibility in terms of what it may be that those two people would be distracted. Maybe they would be, maybe their attention would be overly diverted to other things rather than the plan of action that an efficient and hard-working Prime Minister has got in mind. He comes across to people who meet him as being somebody that works at pace. He is somebody who would admit that he works overtime. He's somebody who tries to look at the detail of everything, and he's got some core purposes in mind because he is a Labour politician. He doesn't want to see distracted people at the cabinet table. He doesn't want to meet people who are only giving half of the effort that they could give. So I think this is a bit of a spring clean, a clear out of people that don't really need to be there, who have been useful, who no doubt have contributed to a win that no doubt Labour are proud of, but who can move on now because the Prime Minister wants to keep going. I think Sir Keir Starmer is very proud of the fact that he won in 2024. I don't think this will dampen his spirits. He's also not implicated, he's not included himself. But I think a pragmatic approach would see some people out and would bring some more people on who can help drive the government on, that can help drive his plan for change forward, because that is what his main goal is. He is seeking to cover more of the points of his plan for change, as many as he can, from what I understand. And some people leaving, it may make for some interesting turn of events in some of our minds, but it's not really to do with an investigation principally focused on America and in America. This is more to do with the party politics of the UK state. It can be dramatic, it can be it can turn on the edge of a knife. Sometimes we get a new chapter the next day. This is what happens in our world, in our frame of things. People come and people go. But the main point with a Labour government is the Prime Minister. It is the top job that matters in Labour politics, because they see a leader as being someone that can drive the change that they want the country to see. The fact that Keir Starmer is still there is the main point, is the whole point. And I think that in the policing sense, which is what I try to look over in this channel, in the policing sense, I don't think this is a crisis. I don't think this is a problem that is only just being cracked open. Epstein was somebody who was well known anyway by numbers of police sources before a scandal even erupted, and with photos and documents being published, so-called online, in thousands in America. He was already looked at. He was already somebody whose name would come up from time to time. Let's remember the pace of police investigations. It's not the same as it feels like on a news channel. It's a much different pace, and if the pace is kept to what it should be, the investigation is thorough and it's complete, and we get the outcome that we pay for. I don't really pick up on a lot of worry over this person who's now dead, who's deceased, and anything that may be lingering. It's obviously the focus that whoever may be the victims find resolution, find closure in the way they need to in the system that they've got to access. Anything further than that would be drawing out a process that really is ongoing and is probably drawing to a close in some way. So, I'm not seeing this as being the result of policing. We're more seeing the result of a political system breathing a sigh of relief, maybe fixing its muscles again, getting back to what the real work is, rather than being distracted.